Chris Rippon, and I'm the special teams coordinator here at Rutgers University. And I'd like to introduce you into a few drills that we do special teams wise that are very, very pertinent to success in special teams, along with drills that you can incorporate at any phase, any level. The first thing that I want to hit is kickoff coverage. And we build how we're going to start our kickoff coverage by a takeoff drill. And I'm going to take you through that. Our philosophy is that we want to hit the line. For us in college, it's the 30-yard line. We want to, as the kicker hits the ball at the 30, we want our entire team to be hitting the 29.5. So their foot is on the 29, and as the ball gets kicked, their foot comes down on the 30. So when I got here to Rutgers, I had no idea about the kicker, the timing, or anything else. So as you're going to see in this first slide, this first group of cut-ups, we're going to start out in our philosophy, again, not knowing who the kicker was. We said we're going to use a smart spot, or a spot where the kicker hits, which is the 26-yard line, and that's when everybody's going to take off. Now you can see the way we align. We have our kickoff coverage team with their foot on the 20, depending on where you're kicking the ball off. We like to be 10 yards back. And they're going to have their back foot on the line and their front foot forward. And everyone's concentrating on what we determine is the smart spot, which when the kicker puts his foot on the 26-yard line, everybody just turns and goes. We don't want to start to throttle into the start. We don't want our kids to jog and then hit it and gradually gain speed. We want to hit the thing full speed at the 29.5-yard line. And what that does is it immediately puts pressure on the return team. They have to react. We're sprinting right at them, and they have to come out of a dead stop. So what that does is gives us a chance to force them to show their hand a little bit soon, plus gets us down the field a lot faster. So in this first one, you're going to see we're starting out, our kicker takes his approach, and he hits the 26-yard line. And you should see everybody's starting to hit. Just as he's going, he hits the 26, and you can see everybody's starting to go. Okay, now he hits the ball at the 30, and we have guys anywhere from the 25-yard line up to the 28-yard line. And down at the bottom of the screen, the number 2, of course, he left a little bit early. He wasn't as disciplined. You can see how that goes. So we build this whole thing, and we told the kids we didn't care if they were offsides. We didn't care if they were slow or anything else. We were going to build this so that we could get us to a point where we can hit that flying 40, as we call it. We can hit it at the 29.5-yard line. And I wanted to use this clip. This was the first time that we worked on kickoff coverage this spring here at Rutgers, and you can see we were kind of all out of whack right there, but that's okay. Now, the next clip that you see is we after watching that film, we determined that we were going to have everybody start when the kicker his foot hit the 23-yard line. We were going to go. So you can see right there, he's just about past the 23. See if I can get it back a little bit for you. We're at the 23. Now everybody's starting. And this is practice number 2. So we're having our kids concentrate right now on the kicker. When his foot hits the 23-yard line, we're going to go. And you can see the marked difference, okay, as we get there. Okay? His foot right now, he's approaching. Okay, he's going to get... See if I can't get this for you. He's hitting the ball, and you can see we have, at the bottom 2, we have 2 guys that are on the 30-yard line. We're at the 29 below that. We're excellent at the 4, about a yard behind at the 5, and you look at the top of the screen, 5, 4, 3, 2 are right on it. Okay, now, with the guys at the bottom, the rule is that they can be over the line but not touching the ground while the kicker kicks the ball. That's not offsides. So we want to be in that position. And I'm going to take you back to the beginning. And I want you to see what we're trying to get is our guys full speed hitting that 30-yard line as the kicker goes. Now watch what it does. Now, this is just a drill, and we're working on takeoff. We have that scout team look, go right there and wait and not move until the ball was kicked. And you can see how fast our guys are climbing on top of them. I mean, we're at some points, we're 7 and 6 yards away from that return team. And that's exactly what we want to do. We want to be barreling full speed. What we use the term climbing. We're climbing on top of them and making them make a decision. If they're going to run a return, they're going to have to show their hand right now, and that gives our kids an opportunity to read what that return is, react, and I'll show you the next drill that we use in the progression that I think is pretty good. So this was the second time we did this. We filmed the first one. We showed it to the players. We came back out. We said the 23-yard line. Okay, we evaluated it again, and this is the picture I show them. I try to click it right at the spot. Okay, and we're there, and we keep working, and some guys, of course, are faster than the others. We have to maybe tell the guy at the bottom right here, as you can see, he's leaving at a pretty good pace. Okay, he might have to wait just even a half a second later so that he hits it at the 29 and a half. Now, this was about 2 weeks later. We had worked on it one more time, and now we're more in a scrimmage situation. We're going against the kickoff return team, and I wanted to show you this. We'll watch the get off. You can see everybody's got their proper stance. Their backside foot is on the line. Their front foot is forward. Their toe is pointed. They're leaning forward. Everybody's concentrating right now on that 23-yard line, and when the kicker puts his foot down there. Now, you can see right down here on the bottom, the R4, he's a little too fast with it. Okay, and we can judge that, and we're going to talk to him about it. But you watch everybody else. There we are at the 23-yard line, and you see 10 people right now all starting to turn the thing over. Their hips are already open, and they're on their way, and they're getting down the field. Now, we're getting right here. Okay, there's the 29. There he's hitting the ball. Okay, now we went back and we said, okay, number four, you're a little bit fast right here. Okay, and we can temper that down. But if you look at the other 9 guys, we are hitting that thing at the 29.5-yard line. The kicker's kicking the ball. Okay, you look at the front line. That front line is 15 yards away from us. Okay, but watch how fast we climb them. Okay, we are flying full speed, and we are closing the distance on that front line, and we're forcing them to show us what they're going to do. Okay, and it's also much better for the kickoff coverage team because they're not going to have an opportunity to set themselves and block us. Okay, now we look at the next phase of it, where the ball is caught and how close we are to the returners and the blockers. You can see, look right down here on the bottom hash mark. Okay, we've got a guy that's 2 yards away from their blockers. He's running full speed, and they haven't even had a chance to catch themselves right now and get square and block us. You can see the same group at the top of the screen by the hash in between the numbers. Okay, we're forcing the issue, and that's why it's so important for us to get our kids to believe that we have to be disciplined. We have a specific get-off. There's no difference with kickoff coverage and on offense with the signal, with the cadence, and on defense with the defensive line getting off when the ball moves. We're going to use the same things in our special teams, the same trigger words, the same trigger actions that they work on every single day. So if you go back one more time, okay, this is a culmination. We're going to tweak it. We'll get it to the point why by the time that we get our season started, okay, where we're hitting that thing as one big wave on the 29-yard line, okay, when the kicker hits the ball at the 30. Now, the next thing I want to go over with you is the avoid drill. This is the second part of our development of the kickoff coverage team. This drill, the avoid drill, is the next part. After we took our flying 40, okay, we're going to come down the field, and we want to avoid frontline blockers. If we call it the speed and read zone up until the 25-yard line, the opponent's 25-yard line for you, you're going to have to judge it based on your kicker, okay? And we're going to get out of our lane. We're going to avoid that frontline blocker and get right back into our lane. And then the next part of the drill is if we engage a blocker, if we're closer than 15 yards to the football, we're going to engage the blocker, and we're going to take him on head up. And we're going to drive him back, and we're going to look for the ball carrier. And once we see the ball carrier, we're going to shed and we're going to go. So this drill, you can see, we line it up across the field. We have our kickoff guys at the top of the screen. You can see they're on the 25, the 35, and the 45-yard line. And we have 4 blockers set up on the hash mark. and we're going to give those blockers a direction to go to. You can see we have a next group, or they're at the top of the numbers. The next group of guys are carrying hand shields. Okay, they're going to be the people that we confront, and then behind them on the hash mark are the ball carriers. Now, the drill is the coach signals go. We tell the blockers which way we want them to go. So here we go. We're saying, okay, the blocker is coming from the left-hand side, okay, and he's coming back across. Now, we kind of screwed up the drill. I'm showing you things that realistically, they're not perfect. You have to be very descriptive in every kind of drill that you run, exactly what you want. So let's concentrate on the blocker at the 40-yard line. Okay, he's coming back to the 35, and our guy on the 45 is reading him and saying, okay, I'm avoiding across that blocker's face. So we want to dip and rip and get right back on that line as soon as we can. Now, you can see he's not bending as well as we'd really like him to. We want him to avoid that blocker and get right back on. Now, he engages a blocker. We're saying, okay, now you're closer than 15 yards to the football. We're not going to run around blocks at this point. This point, we have to engage. We have the guys drop their hips, accelerate into the block, deliver a blow with their hands in their face, get extension, and run the blocker back. Now, that was one of the hardest things we'd had. Again, this was the first day that we did this drill. Engage the blocker, accelerate your feet, get separation, and look through the ear hole to locate the ball, and then violently disengage from him as you go. So you can see right here, you're looking at the 45-yard line, okay, right there on the hash mark. You can see we're not driving that blocker. Okay, we want to drive him back. And the blocker, of course, has to be coached up and told, hey, we're going to blast you. You got to give us some resistance here. And as we're driving you back, work back, give us resistance. Now, we're locating the ball carrier. The ball carrier here is going over to his left, to the defender's right. Violently separate. Now, we want to see if that tackler can come on an angle, okay, and get across. Now, here we're just thudding up, tapping real quick, okay, and getting on the ball carrier. Okay, if you watch the guy on the 35-yard line, okay, he's got no blocker. He escapes right to the outside. That's exactly the opposite of what we want the drill done. At the top on the 25-yard line, okay, we have a blocker. We get away from him. We get back in our lane. Again, we want to see him get a little bit closer, a little bit faster. He engages the blocker, but he's picking a side. We want to take that head up. Right now, when you're teaching kickoff coverage, you don't want, when you're 15 yards from the ball, you don't want to pick a side. You want to be square up so that you're not doing what he's doing, having to give ground in order to make the tackle. And if there's any room right there, you're not going to be able to make that play. Okay, next time that we come through, this is the same progression, the same day of the drills. Okay, we have the other side coming. Now you can see all the blockers are coming from the left, so we should all be avoiding to the defender's right-hand side. Let's dip and rip. Pretty good by the guy in the middle on the 35-yard line. He's getting real skinny. He's dipping his inside shoulder and ripping his inside arm up, and he's bending to get back into his lane. Same with the man on the 45-yard line. You can see he's doing a pretty good job. Now, as we engage, again, the best example of what we want to get done here is on the 25-yard line on the hash mark. We're engaging and we're driving back. That's a pretty good job by the defender, and it's a pretty good job with the guy holding the bag, although we don't want him to be that soft. Okay, we want a little bit more resistance. Now, the coaching point for the players that are running the ball for us, they can't move until we make contact and take 3 steps. So basically, you tell them, okay, he makes contact 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, and now go in the direction opposite the blocker. So you can see that the blocker's coming over here from the left to the right. Now we want to get engaged and we want to go to the right-hand side. Now, I must not have done a great job of explaining this in our meeting, okay? But I think it's very realistic for what all you coaches are going to experience if you choose to use this drill. And again, development of kickoff coverage to me is, number one, the funnest thing to do as a coach. Number two, one of the most important aspects of any special teams is the kickoff coverage, because you're setting the tone of the game. You're going to let them know that your team is coming ready to play, and you have to give the kids the tools in order for them to have success. So here we go. We're ripping back across. Okay, the ball carrier on the 25-yard line, leaving a little bit early, but we do get a violent shed. We get a violent shed in the man on the 35-yard line. He's doing a good job of two-gapping and locating the ball carrier. Okay, the man at the top of the screen, the ball carrier's a little bit fast, the blocker's a little bit soft, okay, and we're coming from behind. But that drill is going to be the progression drill for us, and we really believe in doing that. The next drill that I want to show you, okay, is our punt returner distraction drill. Now, based on the players that you have and the punters that you're going to see, a lot of high school teams, of course, are in tight punt, but so many people are getting into schemes now where they realize you have to get coverage. We're going to get people down the field and we're going to get on you. And nothing's worse than sending a punt returner back and you don't have confidence in the kid. You're scared to death that the ball's going to be on the ground, and the kid is back there, and really in the back of his mind he's scared to death he's going to put the ball on the ground or he's going to get smacked. So we come up with different ways of distracting him in practice, getting him acclimated to a situation where, hey, I'm going to, something's going to happen. Somebody's going to whiz by me. I might get hit. I might get hit early. I might get hit right after I touch the ball. So what we've done is we've taken these two big balls, and we have guys assigned. They're called harassers. And you can see number 38 right here is a harasser. Okay, and he's coming down. He's just throwing one of those balls at him. Okay, and you're not hurting the returner. It's as much of a distraction and a feel as it is anything else. Maybe a guy whizzing by him is getting blocked and he's getting his hands in, and it forces your returners, okay, to really concentrate on, number one, getting their feet set, number two, securing the ball as they come in, okay, and now accelerating down. So we'll show you a few shots of how this goes. Yeah, you can see we're working now. He's got to get underneath it. Okay, we have our harasser right there. He throws the ball at him. Now here comes the other guy. Here comes another ball. He's got to dodge around. He's got to do everything else. The harassers have a good time because, they're not whacking the kid. And it does a great job because as insignificant as it might seem to be hit with one of these big balls, it is a problem and a concentrated effort. The returner knows going in, when I'm catching this football, I'm going to be hit. I don't know where I'm going to be hit. I don't know where that ball's going to be. Maybe it's going to be underneath my feet. Maybe it's going to come at my head. I don't know where it's going to come. So his mind, you're forcing him to really, really concentrate. It's just a distraction and something to build the confidence of the returner. Okay, this is a pretty good shot here. Okay, you can see we whack him just as we get him right on the elbow. Right on the elbow. So now he's really got to get, you've seen it time and time again where a guy is whizzing by him or coming by in front and he sticks his hand out, okay, and he grabs his elbow. Well, instead of having a player there and he's got pads and he's bringing his elbow down, whacking him on the helmet or on the shoulder pad and all that other business, okay, we're just throwing these balls at him, and you can see it provides exactly what we want it to do. We provide him an opportunity to practice in a non-game situation some of the things that can possibly happen in the game, and now he's forced to really concentrate. You can see how he has to concentrate on getting the ball, and watch how quickly the transition is from his eyes. He realizes that the ball is not in his hands. He can't cradle it and bring it into his chest. Okay, I have to stay with the ball. Now watch right there. He pulls it right in. Okay, and we get going down the field. Okay, another distraction we do. Okay, instead of throwing the ball at him, okay, we bounce the ball. So now it gets in the flight path of the football, and he's got to concentrate through it. Okay, again, just a distraction, just something for him to think about, and we can feel a lot more confident that our players have been exposed to things that could possibly happen on the field, okay, and as well, and more importantly than our confidence is that the returner's confidence is there. Okay, we don't want an opportunity to not take advantage of a good punt opportunity to return a punt, nor do we want our punt returners to feel that they haven't been exposed to some distractions. Now, I really like this drill, and I don't know how many coaches out there have a coach assigned to a punter. I mean, a lot of places it's go punt over there. You're our punter, and maybe he's the quarterback, maybe he's a guard, maybe he's the kid off the soccer team that's a punter. So many different things. But what do you do with these guys? Well, I've always felt that I like to rush the punter. I like to put pressure on the punter. I want to distract him. I want to give him things to think about. We talk about our kids from a punt block standpoint, that we're going to get into the head of the punter and everything else. So consequently, on the other side, if you're working with the punter, or you're whoever the head coach is saying, what are we doing to get this kid ready for to field the punt, to get the punt off with confidence, to get him to block all the extraneous baloney that goes on with the different rushes that you see, the different pressures that you see, and everything else. And this is a simple drill. And talking to our punter after I did this, I didn't even tell him I was going to. I just kind of showed up one day and said, you didn't punt great the other day. We got some pressure off the edge. So the first progression that I had was, our feeling is, with the way we punt, okay, the punt block spot is 10 yards. Okay, at 10 yards, that's where the ball is going to meet the punter's foot. And at 9.5 yards is where the punt blocker is going to be. So I'm at 9 yards. Okay, I'm not going to get any closer away, nor am I going to stay further away, because I don't think it's realistic. I'm going to be there at 9 yards, and I'm just going to be a distraction, like a guy coming across his face. And you can see, this is the first 1 or 2 times that I did it. I just wanted him, out of the corner of his eye, to feel me coming back across, to feel movement, to see what happens. Now, the first punt's pretty good. You can see he gets the ball down the field. You can see another part, we had harassers right there with dummies, okay, banging away at him. Okay, now the next one, I'm coming from the other side, okay, and I just run across and I stick my hand up, okay. He comes back across, he kind of shanks the punt, all right, and you look at how small and insignificant that movement is, okay. Is exactly 9 yards. If the block spot is at 10, the blocker's got to be at 9.5 to extend his arms to get it. I'm at 9. It's the safe zone. One arm up, okay, it's just sticking it up there, and it was enough of a distraction. And when I talked to him afterward, he said, I'm just not used to, we hadn't had any live punts at that point. I'm just not used to having something come that way. And we started to incorporate it. It's not an every rep type of deal for him pre-practice. We did this in pre-practice with the structure that we have here at Rutgers, okay? But if you don't have it and you have a chance for, you have that guy that's just a punter, well, you have somebody over there, and you have them kick some balls, and you just get in the way. Okay, the next part of the distraction drill, okay, was, you can see I'm standing there and I have one of those agiles, okay, and now I'm extended, and he's seeing a bigger and a more violent distraction right there, and I could get a little bit closer. Okay, he sees me, he sees something coming back across. He's got to concentrate on it. Okay, he's got to get the ball. If he takes too big a step, he's going to run into it. I can get a little bit closer. Again, I'm not going to get past that 9.5 yard point where I would be blocking the punt, but it's just another distraction that he's got to kind of put up with. And you can see right there, it wasn't a great punt. I don't know if it was my distraction or if it was the wind or whatever, but I thought it was pretty good. And here it is from the other side. You always want to give them both looks, okay? And we have one that, okay, again, here's the rush, there's the snap, here's somebody coming off the edge, okay, blurred by, maybe he's getting pushed by, maybe he takes the wrong angle, okay? You can notice our punter is doing a great job of concentrating on the football, okay, and he gets a pretty good punt off right there. Pretty good hang time, pretty good distance, okay? And this was again, this is just something as we keep going to keep the thing different stimulus to get at this guy, okay? I'm chucking the ball. I'm checking the bag past him, okay? I'm outside. Maybe there's an outside rusher and an inside rusher, somebody coming back across. Just another distraction to make this kid concentrate and give him an opportunity to get comfortable with tuning out all the baloney that's going on around him. Our punt block fundamental drills, okay, we love blocking punts. Coach Shiano loves blocking punts. There's been tremendous success in recent years at Rutgers with blocking punts. Again, it doesn't come by. You're going to have natural ability, but certainly you got to teach all of your guys the basic fundamentals of how to block a punt. The number one thing that we teach our kids is that we want to have our thumb and our index finger put together, okay? And we want to widen our fingers out. We call that a triangle. We want to form a triangle with our hands, and that's the location point. We want to see the ball through the triangle is the coaching point to that. The next part that we have to discuss is you never want to have your guys put their arms with their triangle above their shoulders. Now, so many young players they start to go out and they think they're going to block a punt, and as they get in, they raise their hands. Maybe they have a triangle, maybe they don't. But in their minds, they're thinking that if I put my hands up in the air, I'm going to get it based on the trajectory of the football. What really happens, though, is you decrease the blocking surface. So two very important parts, and you're going to see it as we go through these drills, okay, is that we want to make sure, okay, and this is a blocking that, we have a kicking leg, if you can believe it, that's the leg, okay, and on it we tape the football, and I don't know how many of you folks have this, but if you can't, you can have somebody just hold the ball out there, or you can have somebody kneel there and toss the ball up. We're just fortunate enough that we have this kicking leg. Now, what we're looking for with this kicking leg and taking you through the whole thing is we've already gotten our rush, we've already gotten our past the crank point, we're past the blocker. Okay. Now, first thing that we're looking for in the camera angle is that we want to see that his eyes are open and his eyes are concentrating on the ball. The second thing that we want to see is the triangle. Okay, he's got his triangle together. You can see it right there. Okay, if you concentrate on his hands, you can see it right by the outside hip. Okay, the third thing that we're looking for is that his arms are locked out. We want full extension of the wrist and the elbow, so we're completely locked out. The fourth thing that we want to see is that his arms don't go above his shoulders. And the fifth thing that we want to see is that he runs through the block spot. Okay, again, going earlier to our punter distraction, we talked about the spot where the ball touches the punter's foot is at 10 yards. With all the confidence in the world, if your blocker does not go past 9.5 yards, if that's the block spot, okay, there's never, ever an opportunity for him to worry about running into or roughing the punter. Okay, so those 5 aspects, okay, forming the triangle, extending the arms, locking out the elbows, looking at the ball through the triangle, extending the arms, and running through are all aspects that you can work on and you can drill. And you can see we're just one after the other. Okay, we want them to put their hands right on the thing. Okay, you can see right there, that's a great picture. You can see he's looking at through the triangle at the ball. His hands are on the ball, okay, and he gets it through. Okay, now right here you can see his fingers. We don't have a triangle effect right there, and you can look at his eyes right behind where Coach Shiano's hand is. Okay, his eyes are up, so he's going to have to come back. He's going to go back and do it. Okay, we don't touch the thing there. We wanted that to go. You can see the guys follow through with their eyes right there. Excellent job. He blocked 2 punts last year, and we just run through the drill. Now you'll see on the next shot, okay, you can see these guys accelerate through, and they seem to be flat because we're going to run through the block spot, and we're going to run to the hash mark because if we don't block it, we're going to set up a wall, and that's what we're trying to do with this drill. Okay, now the next drill that we're working on right here in the punt block series of punt block progression is we're working on getting off the snap, dipping and bending. You can see the 2 bags right there. They're 5 yards from the snapper, and we want to accelerate through, go 9.5 yards. There's a spot right there where the guys are timing. We time each of our guys as they go through so we can get a good idea of who's the best punt blocker and those kind of things. Okay, but we can monitor. You can see that if you look really hard, there's a cone there at 9.5 yards. That's where we want to see them. Okay, and we run through. And the guy at the bottom, you can see he's bending at the hips, and there's very little bend. Okay, right now I'd have to say he's going to be dinged. He's not going to be a great pump blocker for us. Okay, the guy at the bottom. Okay, and this is even before we're working on the takeoff and those kind of things. We're just working on who can accelerate through and get confidence with, as you can see the bend right there. Okay, his hands are right over the spot. He's extended. We're coaching all the things that we did on the leg right in the previous drill. Okay, but we're looking for that acceleration, that 10-yard acceleration to the football. Okay, coming off the either end. Now, what we've done is we've got our wide receivers. We've got a selected group of backs. We have our defensive backs, selected group of linebackers. Okay, and they're all trying out because at some point they're gonna do it. And coach has the linemen doing different drills at another point where we're also blocking punts. Okay, but this is a drill that you can get set up. Okay, these drills run simultaneously. There's two groups. You can see here we have left and right on the other side. Okay, we get every one of these players in this particular drill combo. We went with over 50 players. Okay, and we got both drills done in under 5 minutes, and everybody got 2 shots. Everybody went from the left and the right in both drills. So not only are they time perfectly, okay, but they're also drills that are very, very appropriate. And then you get to the final parts of, okay, we believe in the whole method. We teach them what we want to do with the pump block. We teach them what we want to do with the kickoff coverage and how to attack those things. We coach, of course, the punt returners, those types of things, the punters, what we're doing. Okay, then we go out and we break it into parts. Okay, and these are the parts. There's 2 or 3 other parts that you might find significant. We find significant in teaching it, and then we bring it back together and put the whole thing back once again to what we're trying to do. There's a lot of specific drills that you can do. There's a lot of great drills out there. My recommendation is as you go through, again, look at it when you have time, especially in the off season. Watch all your film. Watch each aspect of the special teams. As you're watching each one, and you don't even have to study it. You watch it and you see what each player or each position it would be involved with, and then you go and you start to make up your drills, and you make them quick. This is not a conditioning drill. This is not a drill that's going to last long. We couldn't ask our kids to be in this drill 5 or 10 minutes. We're going to ask our kids to be in this drill 2.5 minutes. We're flying through, and then we're going. I hope these drills help you folks out. We believe strongly in them. They'll be incorporated in our preseason camp in spring practice, and as we start to see things, we'll start to identify the players that are best suited for each responsibility that we have.